So now we're going to try to simplify algebraic expressions. One of the things we do when we're simplifying them is we look for what are called like terms and terms. So if you have 3a plus 2a, it's like having 3 apples plus 2 apples, you can combine them and get 5 apples. But if you have 3 apples and 2 bananas, you can't combine those because one's apples and the other is bananas. Okay, so this would be simplified right there. You can't do anything with it, okay? So in order for you to combine terms, the coefficients can be different. Now a coefficient, that's the constant in front of the variables, okay? Those can be different, but the variable part has to be the same. Okay. So we'll see how this comes into play. We have some examples. So we have here in this expression 3x and then another x. Now if you want to put a 1 there, you can. But 3x and 1x, that's 4x. Then we have negative 2y and negative 3y. So you have to think somewhere, what's negative 2 and negative 3? That's negative 5y. Now what about this minus 7? Well, there's nothing for it to combine with, so we can't forget about it. We just have to put minus 7. And then that would be simplified. That would be the expression. Now, b, there's something else going on here. There's a distributing thing. Now, when you're distributing, you have to make sure that, are you distributing a positive 5 or a negative 5? In this case, that is a minus 5. You have to look for the sign in front of the number. And so what we're going to get is 2, oops, I got stuff bouncing all over the place here. I get 2r minus 15, because that's the negative 5 times 3, plus, because a negative times a negative is positive, and then 5r, plus the 4. So once we've done the distributing, now we can do what we did on the last problem, combine like terms. So I have 2r and 5r, that's 7r. And then I have to look at what's negative 15 and 4. Now, sometimes people like to write it out, like, okay, here's the 2r plus the 5r. I know I'm going to combine those. And then I'm going to have the negative 15 plus the 4. Like, it helps to see it written out. That's up to you. For me, that's too much work. But negative 15 and 4 is going to be negative 11. But you write it so that it helps you, whatever works for you. Okay, now we have this problem here, C, and that already looks scary because of the fractions. But let's look at the parentheses and what's going on. The minus sign, that will have to be distributed. So I'm going to have 4t minus 5 over 4s. There'll be minus 2/3 t. So that's doing that. And then it's going to be minus 2t, or 2s, sorry. 2s. Okay, so first you got to make sure you do the distributing right. You can't just take the parentheses off. You have to look and make sure that everything's the way it's supposed to be. Sometimes students like to think of it as a minus 1 here that's distributing. That's fine. Okay, now where are the t's? I've got a 4t and a negative 2/3 t. So let me write those. 4t minus 2/3 t. And then I'm going to have the negative 5/4 s and the minus 2s. But in order for me to combine, because I've got like integer coefficients and fraction coefficients, okay, and I got to have a way to combine those. So I can put this as 4 over 1 and then look for a common denominator. I'll have to multiply by 3. Both the top and bottom. So a little review of fractions here. So 12t over 3 minus 2 over 3t. Okay, now the t's I can combine. So that's going to be 10 over 3t. That part's done. Now back over here for the s part. I'll have to make that over 1, and I'll need to multiply by 4 to get a common denominator. So I'm going to have a negative 5 over 4s minus 8 over 4s. And now I can combine the numerators. It's going to give me minus 13 over 4s. And that's going to be all I can do. I can't combine the two fractions because one's a t and one's an s. So 10 thirds t minus 13 fourths s. Whew, that was a hard one. Okay, some are like that. Now, what have we got going on here? Well, we've got 2mn and 3mn. Those you can combine. 5mn. Now, what about this little term? Do I have any other m terms? No, just negative 5m. And what about this little guy? Well, it's an n. There aren't any other n terms, so plus n. And that's all you can do. So if you're thinking, oh, but couldn't I combine, the 5mn and the minus 5m? No, this is an mn term. This is an m term. This is an n term. They're all different. It's like this is mangoes. And this is, what starts with n? Nuts. And this is some like hybrid plant that's like a mango nut or something. I don't know. But they're all different. Okay, I don't know if that helped.